right here on Spectrum Sportsnet. We say hello and welcome to Access Sportsnet Lakers, brought to you by your Southern California Toyota dealers. I'm Allie Clifton, joined by the one and only Hall of Famer, big game, James Worthy, five-time champ, Derek Fisher, our Laker insider, Mike Bresnahan. Geeter will be joining us at halftime. Before we talk hoops, you guys swinging the sticks lately or working on it?
Yeah, it's golf season on off days.
I heard the conversations.
Yeah,
listens.
Fish and I are, kind of, picked up the game and we're working on it. Going to see if we can make something happen Friday morning.
That's what I heard.
Early.
He was working on his swing in the makeup room.
Yeah, a lot of work to do.
Yep.
A lot of work to do. Glad we had day jobs for a long time. before golf.
So you're saying this would not be your day job?
No.
Well, you have a lot of work to do on your golf swing. I think the Lakers have a lot of work to do on the hardwood. We shall get right to it because LeBron James will miss his 8th straight game with an abdominal strain when the Lakers take on the Milwaukee Bucks. They are 3-4 in that stretch without LeBron. There have been reports that LeBron could rejoin the team for Friday's matchup against the Celtics, but that doesn't help for tonight, Fish. But it's another opportunity for them to kind of right the ship and find some chemistry, though he is a big piece. What's the challenge in that?
Yeah, I think it's a great sign that he's getting closer. Seeing him out on the court, warming up, I think that's good for the guys to see, for fans to see, everybody here in the studio. The Lakers are better when he's on the court. But as this team seeks a certain level of chemistry, continuity, consistency on the court, the sooner he's back, the better. And the longer they go without him, it delays Russell Westbrook's adjustment, right, to having to play with LeBron and with AD and with Carmelo. These guys need as many games as possible. I think the Brooklyn Nets found out last year not ever really consistently getting to see Durant, Harden, and Irving on the court at the same time. It's just tough to develop that connective tissue you need to be successful in the postseason.
Yeah, big game. We all want to sit here and start evaluating, but I just don't think we can just yet.
No, when you're missing pretty much the engine of your car, you have you put in your secondary engine and it's still going and they're still blending and trying to learn from one another. But LeBron is a big piece of that. And, he does so many things to make this team work. Okay. And Westbrook needs to play with him. He needs to be out there playing with all these guys. Monk, Ellington, Carmelo. When it's like having it's like for me, when I played, it would be like not having Magic Johnson out there. And we still got Kareem out there. We still got some guys out there, but you miss that guy that really makes it go. And you got to take it easy with his injury right now and make sure that he comes back full recovery.
Yeah, Lakers 4-2 when he does suit up for them this year. That's a pretty good start right there. If he comes back on Friday, obviously a big lift for him. Fish, I know you mentioned this on air the other day, and Allie and I talked about it on the podcast yesterday, but Phil Jackson had a saying that you don't know what you have until Thanksgiving every year. For this team, though, I think you have to push that back because Thanksgiving is next week. It's, 8 days from today? It's coming up quickly. Maybe you have to start thinking about we want to reload in Christmas, see how we look then, maybe even MLK Day in mid-January. It's a little tricky to do that. You don't want to keep pushing back the date where you kind of say, here's what we have, here's what kind of team we're going to be. But at this point, so many guys still out. That's kind of what you have to do.
And again, I'm not so sure that you're able to really evaluate a night like tonight because you have two powerhouses in the NBA. You'd like to see them both healthy go up against one another. What are you looking forward to tonight? You have two teams that are struggling. Obviously, the Bucks maybe a bit of a championship hangover, but they're dealing with injuries as well. We know the Lakers' story, and you expect both to right the ship at some point. What are you going to take away for tonight? What are you looking for?
The Milwaukee Bucks have had a longer time to build their championship habits, even though they have players out. So Milwaukee's probably going to play more consistent basketball. Even as they struggle, you're still going to see their identity in this game tonight. They're going to shoot a lot of threes. The ball's going to be in Giannis's hands. Their versatility on the defensive end with Jrue Holiday leading the charge. Guys like Grayson Allen that have come in and found a home in Milwaukee playing really good basketball. The Lakers are still searching for what their identity is going to be this particular season. So tonight, I'm looking for a very, very motivated Lakers team. Like Melo said something after the game the other night that they've had this game circled on their calendar in the locker room. And I think for a veteran team, even though they're newly built together, there are certain games that are going to get their attention more than others. And they've had this game circled. And since they've been struggling and now they're going to start to get out on the road, whereas us against the world, I look for them to almost maybe be more consistent than they've been here in L.A.
And look, I think it's about the Lakers right now. You don't use another team to kind of measure it. Right now, it's about you and what they could make a statement tonight for themselves.
Yeah, and I think on this road trip, that's what they're going to be trying to do, to, retell themselves that they're capable of winning games, and that regardless of who's on the floor, they have to go out and get the job done. They can improve in some areas where I think they know they can defensively, particularly. They can always play pretty good defense. So, yeah, being on the road, they've been at home for a lot of games. Now they're together. It's just those guys on the road. Sometimes you can pull closer together. You communicate better. You're on the plane. You're talking about certain things that relate to what you need to do. So I think this is the perfect time for them to make a statement. This first game against Milwaukee is going to be a tough one, though.
Yeah, the Bucks might have circled it on their calendar, too. I mean, they're getting guys back. Chris Middleton hasn't played since October. He had COVID, and then he had some personal time off. He's expected back tonight. Giannis took the last game off, had some ankle soreness. He's back tonight. And they really are kind of like the Lakers. Brook Lopez hasn't played since opening night. He's had some back issues. The difference, though, Fish, you kind of hit on it. There's a lot more continuity with this current Bucks team than the Lakers team. Their top 6 scorers are all back from last season. The Lakers got their top 2 scorers back, and then it kind of gets a little tricky after that. So definitely, this team is used to playing with each other. They're a little healthier than the Lakers right now.
Just 3-7 in their last 10, just 1-4 at Pfizer Forum.
Amazing.
Some news, Crypto.com and AEG, in case you missed it, launched a historic 20-year naming rights agreement to rename Staples Center to Crypto.com Arena. This becomes the largest naming rights deal, worth a reported $700 million. The naming change will take place on Christmas Day when the Lakers take on the Nets. Crypto.com Arena will continue to be a first-class venue, as AEG will spend over $100 million updating and improving the arena in the near future. Earlier this year, the Lakers extended their lease to play in the building through 2041. Keep it here on Spectrum Sportsnet for the Lakers and Bucks. Malik Monk has played better on the road so far this season. 13 points per game, 36% from 3. He makes the Lakers bench deeper and more dangerous when he's cooking. Tip-off is coming up at 4:30. Plus, Talen Horton-Tucker has been on fire since his return, while Carmelo Anthony has cooled off since his hot start to the season. Brez will break it all down next in his three-point play. But first, here's a 1-minute update from Chris Leary in Spectrum News 1, brought to you by Varo Bank, a bank for all of us.
I'm Chris Leary. This is your Spectrum News 1 update. Former Trump advisor Steve Bannon is pleading not guilty to criminal contempt charges. He's being charged with 1 count for refusing to appear for a deposition and another for refusing to produce documents related to the January 6th investigation. He faces up